This is Ricco here for iBoxingHub with Shannon, Chaos, Ryan. Now, I always remember to say the Chaos bit, but not this time. All right, got it in my notes. Shannon, how you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad.
Good.
I was with my kid today, so she was just running and jumping and doing crazy
Oh,
things. But yeah, not too bad for this Sunday. I mean, to be honest with you, enough about me. How have you been? Well, I'll tell you what. We'll structure it in terms of how's everything been since the loss to Emma Donlan. I haven't
yeah.
really caught up with you since then, but how's everything been?
Do you know what? Everything has been great. And I think that's surprising for some people when they take a loss. Um, but honestly, I just think that my whole mantra is everything happens for a reason. And I feel like it's not good to lose, it's not great to lose, and it's not nice to lose. But I'm taking that loss as a lesson. And I feel like now me having that loss, it's changed a lot of things for my career. One being I have a new coach, and that being Aaron Woodcock. And I think that is a great matchup that I've done. And I feel like me going into this next part of my career is, for me, it feels like the rebirth of my career. Um, because where I am at now, mentally and physically,
Mhm.
is a place where I've not been before.
What are the lessons that you've learned with the loss? Because obviously, I had a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Denzel Bentley, absolutely sensational performance yesterday. Very, very proud of him. And I think the reason I kind of ask you that is because, I ask a lot of boxers this when they've had losses, but I mean, you're taking it really, really well, and it's kind of been more a lessons learned, get back up kind of thing. Where a lot of fighters, they kind of let the loss of that define them. How have you, not let that loss define you?
Yeah, I think from the start of my career, I've never attached myself to the sport of boxing. I feel like if I was to step away today from the sport, I have so many more other avenues that I can cross over or go into. Not every boxer has that, and I feel like I'm someone that does. And I think that's one of the reasons why I can take the loss so well. Um, but again, I think the new coaching team that I have is another reason why I've taken it so well, because I'm in good good hands moving forward. um and like I said, where I am now mentally, I've not been in that place before, and I feel like boxing, majority of it is mental, and I feel if you get that right,
Mm.
then the fights will play out to how you want them to, obviously according to how you train as well and prepare. But the mental state for me is, I feel like I was lacking that part.
Is that why? I'll ask you because it makes sense now. Obviously, you having a new sort of training staff and everything like that. Is that the reason you kind of haven't gone straight back into the rematch with Emma? You just want to gel everything first, get Kate Rodomsky. I'm so sorry, Miss Rodomsky, if I'm saying that wrong. Um, sort of get that out the way, and I don't know, sort of clear the demons, as it were.
Yeah, do you know, I've always trusted in my gut, and whenever I have a feeling, I will go with that feeling. And there was just something that was telling me to not take it now. And I feel like boxers are kind of looked upon to take that rematch straight away. But
Hmm.
I feel like you shouldn't, if you don't need to, or shouldn't have to. Um, and I feel like we will fight down the line. Obviously, if I win, Emma keeps winning, we'll
Hmm.
cross paths again. And I think that will be a tremendous story, if that was to happen down the line. But yeah, my gut at the time was just telling me, um, to not take the fight, to get one in between, and then at some point rematch in the future if that's possible. But
Would
it
you
was nothing to do, it was nothing to do with me thinking I cannot win the fight. I truly believe now, moving forward, I would be Emma Dolan. I believe in my skills and what I do and myself. But at that time, it wasn't the right thing to do.
When you watch the fight back, because I have my opinion about that. I think I actually messaged you, like head up and something like that. But I'll be real, like whenever I used to play football, or whatever, and I'd lost, and somebody messaged me, I'm like, mate, just go, go away, just leave me alone. But I mean, how did you sort of feel? Because you don't seem to, have been affected by, the blues or anything like that. I just see somebody determined to kind of have a big year next year, which
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about next.
Yeah, and I think again, I'd say I think in every interview, but I think my mentality and what I believe in is so strong and so powerful, and I that for me that had to happen. And that's how I've been able to move forward. And I've always said trust the process. So
Hmm.
I feel like if I'd have won that fight, I would have been in the same situation, um, same mental state that I was in before, and I would not be where I am now. So for me, that was a lesson, a blessing. Um, but it's because things do happen for a reason, and I've trusted the process since the beginning of my career. Taking that loss, I'm still trusting the process. So I think it is about your mentality and how strong you are to believing in whatever you believe in.
Anybody that's ever said trust the process to me, you're not an Arsenal fan, are you?
I'm not, no.
Oh, thank God. Okay, just the terminology. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I love all Arsenal fans out there. I'm lying. But I mean, well, let's kind of get to next year. Well, a couple of things to ask you. How is the relationship with Eddie and Matchroom? Because you are well, from how Eddie was sort of developing you and getting, you're a star outside of boxing, is if that, well, you obviously know that, having O2 sponsorships and all types of stuff. But well, I do my research. Um well, how is the relationship like with Mr. Edward?
Yeah, all is good with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. I'm on a different platform this time, different promotion
Yeah, well,
called
what about that?
yeah, so that's with Huge Boxing. I feel like I needed to get out before the end of the year, and Matchroom, as we can see, are putting on big fights, 50-50 fights, big shows. And I
Mm,
feel like the fight that I'm stepping into, the cards that they had, the fight kind of didn't warrant them cards, if that makes sense, in
yeah,
the
of course.
nicest way possible. If I was in a 50-50 fight, then, I'm sure I would be on one of them cards. But, fantastic that Charlie Sims, Tony Sims are putting on a card for the prospects of the Matchroom that are coming through. So we are able to get out at the end of the year. Um, but the big fight, obviously not looking past Kate, but in the pipeline is a big fight early next year. And that is supposed to be on a Matchroom show. So yeah, all is good with, Eddie and Matchroom and the team. So yeah, just need to get through this one, God willing, and we push on.
You're not going to tell me who that big fight is with, are you?
Yeah, it's been ordered. It's the EBU against Stephanie Silva.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Maybe I don't do my research. I'm sorry. I was just like, okay, you just had you got Kate Radomska.
Yeah.
Is that for that? For you're fighting her for that title then?
Who? Stephanie.
Oh no, no. So you
So
have Kate Radomska
yeah,
next, and
Kate
then you have
is
Kate. Hmm.
yeah, but of course not looking past Kate because every fight is needs to be full focus.
What do you think about because you are well, let me ask you this question first. How long do you see yourself at Superfly? When do we see a transition going to Bantam? Or does it just depend on who you fight?
Yeah, it just depends. It depends on what's there. The belts can be held up for however long, the politics in the sport. Um, but naturally, I know I'm 28 now, but super flyweight is my one-up division. So, for
Right,
me to
okay.
make yeah, so for me to make super fly, it's relatively easy.
You just
Um,
eat whatever you want now, basically.
Not whatever I
No.
want, but it's like I do have a happy camp. Um, so I do take my hat off to those that, diet from the very, very beginning.
Mm.
So it depends. If anything, I would move down a division first. Just depends if my body will allow me, depending on my age, etc. But if not, then obviously we will move up to Bantam. But my plans are is to clear out the division, win a world title in super flyweight, and if
Mhm.
there are other belts that are free to fight for, then we would do that. But first, my focus is super flyweight division, and then we'll see where my body takes me.
All righty. Well, I can't wait for all of that. I love women's boxing, man. I find myself to be a connoisseur of it, to be fair. Now, that's what I actually wanted to ask you. The state of women's boxing. Now, there was a big fight this year with a fellow stablemate, Miss Katie Taylor, against Amanda Serrano. What I want to get your opinion on that fight. What did you think of it? And do you think obviously the right person won?
Yeah, I think the headbutting seems to be a reoccurring issue. Um, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it the whole way through. I did
You're waiting
go
for the
past.
Tyson fight.
Yeah, but even that was sad to watch. But no, the parts of the Katie Taylor fight and Amanda Serrano that I did see, it was very action packed. But for me, watching, and it's taken nothing away from them because they're both legends, but it's so action packed. One's throwing six, the other one's throwing five, the other one throws seven, three. So it's boom, 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 back and forth, back and forth. I just like to watch boxing where it is shots are set up, things are broken down.
Hmm.
But that's just my opinion. But again, it was an action-packed fight, and it's taken nothing away from them because they're still both legends.
Absolute legends. Big up to Katie Taylor. I mean, I don't really see how long she has left. I kind of would love it for her to retire. Which brings me on to my, not in a bad way. I've watched Katie Taylor for like 10, 12 years. Like she's been
Yeah.
in wars and wars and wars. That woman is hands are rated E for everybody. Well, with the belt situation, do you agree? And this is obviously just an opinion that you can give me. With Katie Taylor, she's had the 135-pound belts for like 2 years, hasn't defended them for like 2 years. I mean, she's
Yeah.
fought Chantel Cameron for what do you know? Because I feel like it happens a lot in the women's division. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I personally think there should be a time limit, a time scale.
Hmm.
I do believe you should be allowed to move up and move down. And if, for example, I just feel like if you've got the belt and it's hit the time limit, but you're fighting in the division above and you've
Hmm.
got that fight, then you should be allowed, for example, an extension if that happens. But then in that extension, maybe after that fight, you've got 2 months until you have to either give that belt up or fight for that other belt.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I definitely think there should be a time limit. And like I said, if you're fighting in the weight above or below, fight that one, and then there should be an extension. And by that time, you've got to fight or give it up.
Absolutely. It might be some of the most ridiculous things I've actually ever seen in boxing. But
Yeah.
that's why I love boxing. Malik Scott said to me one time that boxing is the greatest show in the world, Rico, and I was like, you're pretty right. But just to get your thoughts on something as well. My last question, and I do love these catch up interviews that we have, Shannon. The influence of the Saudis. Now,
Hmm.
kind of a two-parter. So, what do you think about Turkey El Sheik's, involvement and what he's kind of done for the transformation that he's given the sport? Just let's just say this year alone. And do you think that he will sort of try and do the same thing for the women's division?
Um, to the first one, I think what he's doing is really good. It's no, I think before it was hard. People would be like, "Oh, will I ever be on one of them cards? Will I?" But what I'm seeing now
Everyone wants
is
a turkey
obviously,
bag.
yeah. So everyone wants that, but I feel like anyone can kind of get that now that each organization or each promoter is working with him,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think what he's doing is good because the fans want to see the big fights, and he's obviously got the money to do so. So I think it's good in the sense of boxing and getting the fights to happen. But then I feel like boxing fights are like it's like a storyline. So it's if these big fights are happening now, what's next? Who's next? And how long can it go on for? And in terms of the women, I believe yes, you will see more female fights
Hmm.
potentially, but I don't think it'll be rolled in quite quick. It will again be a slow progress.
When do you reckon you'll get the call up for that turkey bag after the? I'm
I'm
sorry.
ready.
I'm ready. Listen, I can fit in
um,
suitcases out here. Um,
if I've got to go 3 weights below, my body will allow me to do that.
you're
I
fine.
will diet.
But no, thank you so much. And just obviously my final question, Miss Shannon Chaos Ryan, if it was up to you, how many times would you be out next year?
For me, 3 times would be good. I think three is a nice number to have per year.
Yeah,
Um, I think four would be nice, but that's if you're starting at the beginning of the year. But I
yeah.
think three works well, which then they're spread out nice. and you get that time off in between.
I couldn't agree more. To me, well, to
It's
be
all
honest
about
with you, I
balance.
it does. Like three, I mean, for where you are right now, three is absolutely brilliant. There's a lot of fighters I wish they were out way more, but hopefully with turkey bags being chucked all around the place, we'll
Yeah.
get to grab our own one. But no, thank you so much, Shannon. I
You're
really, really
welcome.
appreciate all the time that you always give to me. Is there anything that you would like to say to your adoring fans out there?
Absolutely. So to the fans that support me, my socials, buy a ticket and just message me with kind things all the time, thank you so much. And then to my sponsors, which being O2, GA Therapy and Nocco, thank you all so much, because without you, it'd be very difficult to do what I do every single day.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Shannon Chaos Ryan. Don't you ever forget the Chaos is anybody else that's interviewing this young lady. All right. Thank you again so much. And I hope you
Thank
have an
you.
incredible end to the year and a great start to the new one.
Thank you so much.